I paired cause and effect with process analysis for this week because I felt like the two went really well together. If we have a process, we have a first this happens, then this happens, and this third thing, etc., happens. And those don't always have to have a domino effect. The first thing that happens within a process doesn't always necessarily have to cause the second thing. It can just be kind of like a logical before. For example, if I am making my bed, me putting on like the mattress protector doesn't cause me to put on the bottom fitted sheet, but in a process of how to make my bed, it's something I would do beforehand. So these two things aren't 100% related all the time, but they definitely can be. There can be processes where we also have kind of a domino effect where one thing leads to another. The other thing that I will try and exemplify throughout these notes is that causes cause effects, right? Something happens, and then because of that, there is a result. But we can have chain reactions to an nth degree where then the effect or what happens because of the cause creates something else. For example, if I trip over a shoe and I fall down, then the cause of me falling down is tripping over the shoe, and the effect is that I fell down. But if I fall down and spill my water, then the cause of me spilling my water is that I fell down, and the effect is me spilling my water. And then if I spilled my water onto my homework and ruined my homework, then the cause or the reason my homework is ruined is because I spilled water on it, and the effect is my homework is ruined. So we can think about, and I could come up with an infinite additional effects for these causes. So effects can become causes if something happens because of them. I think that makes sense, but it's sort of a fun thing to kind of wrap your head around. So kind of as I just exemplified here, a cause makes something happen. There's action in cause and effect. The effect is whatever happened. The floor was wet, so I slipped and fell. The floor being wet is the cause. Slipping and falling is the effect. Pretty basic. So one of the things that we will start talking about soon is transitions, and you will notice you probably used a lot of transitions in your essay about you. I do this in the morning, then I do this, after that I do this, and I do this additionally until about this time, etc. There's going to be specific and obvious transitions, especially in a cause and effect paper, and you're looking for language that suggests an association of cause and effect. So words like since, so, because, therefore, due to the fact, even phrases like as a result of can help to show cause and effect. And these are phrases and words that I want you to be working on using if you plan to write a cause and effect essay. Now, again, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this lecture, cause and effect can sometimes associate with process analysis. So if you're explaining how things work or how something happens, there's cause and effect there. One of the things that, kind of like how I said in the previous video, that I would love for you all to be thinking about is something you are interested in knowing, like what caused it. For example, I am fascinated, and this is going to sound super strange, but I'm fascinated with license plates. I want to know what caused the government to decide that we needed license plates. And so I could write a cause and effect on license plates. Or I could write a cause and effect essay about maybe like a personal car accident that I was in or something like that. But I'm really fascinated in kind of like random objects that are in our lives, and we want to know how they got there. Like, who decided we needed to have fans? What caused us to have fans? So again, this could be a process analysis in that, well, this person did something and then this happened and then this happened. You're kind of working through a process, but it might actually be that you're really kind of working through cause and effect. So one thing leads to another, and that's how we get more of a cause and effect essay as opposed to process analysis. We can look at some like examples here. We've got in this image, we have a balloon and a pin. Obviously, if we poke the balloon with the pin, what is going to happen? So the cause would be using the needle to poke the balloon, and the effect would be that the balloon pops. Some more examples are like a snowman melts. That would be the effect. What caused the snowman to melt would be the temperature increased. Not really necessarily the sun, but the temperature rising. And then if the light turns on, what causes the light to turn on would be that you pushed electricity into the light bulb by flicking the switch. Cause happens first, effects happen second. And then, of course, as we mentioned before, there can be chain reactions where effects turn into causes and cause additional effects. I feel like these examples are really juvenile, but we're going to continue to go through them. So I bought Dan a present. Here's a transition word: because it was his birthday. What is the cause and what is the effect? So the cause is Dan's birthday. The effect is you bought him a present, right? Sentence structure doesn't always distinguish what is the cause and what is the effect. Obviously, because is our joining word. Here's another example. The ice cream was melting as a result of the hot weather. So again, what is the cause? The cause is the hot weather. What is the effect? The ice cream melted. We could, if we're thinking of sentence structure, we could flip that upside down and say the hot weather caused the ice cream to melt. And our as a result of is sort of our connecting phrase. I told Ellen to come home because it was time for dinner. Because is our transition. The school was closed yesterday on account of the snowy weather. On account of is our transition. Sarah could not go to the party due to the fact that she was sick. Due to the fact that is our transitional phrase. I saved $10 as a result of putting $1 in my bank every week. As a result of is our connecting phrase. And so here we can think of sort of causes for these effects. I had to wear boots to school because it was raining. I like you because you're smart. Alan had to stay after school because he had detention. We are having a party because it's John's birthday or something like that, right? So those are really kind of our notes on cause and effect. If you are going to write an essay about cause and effect, it stands to reason that, kind of similar to process, how you would take one step at a time, you would decide to focus on one cause or one effect per body paragraph. And you have a couple of ways in which you could think about doing this. So you could lump all of the causes together at the beginning of your essay and talk about cause, effect, and then go into the effects, effect, where in that example I said cause. That'd be 3 paragraphs with 3 separate causes, and then effect would be 3 separate paragraphs with 3 effects. That would work really, really well for a situation where you had multiple causes, but not necessarily like a chain event where you can see that one cause led to this effect, which led to this other effect, which continued to lead to these 4 other effects. That would be maybe a situation where all of these causes played a role equally or simultaneously, and you got all of these effects. I think if you think about history, maybe a history paper on like what led to the Civil War, we can't say, well, this happened, and because of it, this happened, and because of that, this happened, and because of that, okay, now we have the Civil War, and here are the effects. It's more so like, here's all of these factors that played a part. One might be more significant, but we can't necessarily exactly establish a time frame for our causes. And so in that instance, again, you could lump kind of all of the causes at the beginning of an essay and then all of the effects at the end of the essay. Of course, having an introduction and a conclusion. And then alternatively, if you do have a situation where you've got a cause and effect, very like a process chain kind of reaction, then you can kind of swing back and forth between cause, effect. That effect becomes cause to another effect and another effect. I would call that like more of a domino style essay where one thing leads to another in a very logical sequence of events. So there's some options that you have. Really depends on the topic that you're going to pick. As you guys are brainstorming for this week, I want you to be thinking about different topics that you could write for a cause and effects essay. Some might be more powerful than others. Some might warrant a 4-page essay better than others, and I want to get a lot of potential options to read from you so that we can talk about what might work best and maybe which ones you'd be most interested in. So those are our notes for cause and effect. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and of course, if you do and you haven't already read the chapter content from our textbook, please make sure that you're doing that as well.